this is Cesar. The purpose of this video is to talk a little bit about safety in Colombia and some other subjects. First of all, this is the Google Maps page where it shows Medellin, which is the second most important city in Colombia. Normally runs, it's mostly extending north-south more than west, east, east, west. Okay, here's Bello, which is at the north. Itagüí at the south, Envigado, Sabaneta, the very popular El Poblado. So, safety. If you live in Medellin, yes, you may have some risk, but in general, you are okay. In general, if you practice safety precautions, for example, you don't wear expensive items such as a gold chain, a fancy watch, expensive cameras, carrying a lot of cash, things like that, you will be a magnet to thieves and robbers. So, whenever possible, do not carry a lot of expensive stuff. So that means leave your valuables either in your country, in a safe place, hopefully in the bank, in a safety deposit box instead of you in your house, that somebody could get into your house and steal your stuff while you are traveling here in South America. So, because I have heard that, I know somebody who went on vacation for 2 weeks. He left like $20,000 worth of jewelry in his house. When he came back, they had been stolen, along with big screen TVs and things like that. Some robbers came with a truck or whatever, and they took a lot of valuables. So you don't want to do that when you are traveling. So safety in your home country and safety where you go to. No matter where you're going, always practice safety. Okay? Long time ago, the Bello was pretty unsafe. Still is unsafe to some point. Meaning, if you go to the main park, things like that, the metro station, the shopping centers, Fabricato, things like that, you normally are safe. You know what I'm saying? But if you go up in the mountains, close to them, like up here, you're in some risk. You know what I'm saying? So let's say you decide to live in Bello because there's a lot of people there, it's crowded. You may have a higher increased risk. So depending on where you live, is increased or decreased risk. For example, if you live in El Poblado, you may have more safety than, let's say, in Bello, but still in Poblado you may get robbed. If you go up in some lonely streets in El Poblado, because the Poblado is kind of uphill, so it could happen. You know what I'm saying? So try not to go to lonely places. Try to stay in busy streets, busy locations. You know what I'm saying? Because robbers do not like to be seen by other people and maybe get attacked by people helping the person who is suffering the robbery. So try to stay in busy places, busy hours. Avoid staying out at night, especially late at night. A lot of businesses close, say at 6, 7 in the evening, they are already closed. So the city gets lonelier. More lonely as time passes at night. You know what I'm saying? Later at night, the more closest business they are. So the more lonely the city is. And police is less, there's less police at night when it should be the opposite, but actually at night, because in part because most people go home. So there's less police also. So at night, there is more risk because it's dark so they can hide in dark, robbers can hide in dark places and then attack people. You know what I'm saying? And the darkness kind of helps being detected and things like that. Okay. So here is El Poblado, Parque El Poblado. There's two parks in here. This Parque El Poblado and Parque Lleras, which is a little higher, and there's Provenza. Those are touristic areas. You could actually go at night, but instead of walking, I mean, you can from the metro all the way to Parque Lleras. You can, but there may be if you may say on the side street there could be some LGBT people hanging around. You can just take a taxi here. It's just a few minutes to get there. Some people walk down the metro and then go whatever. Okay, there's a lot of shopping centers you could go to. Shopping centers are safe. El Tesoro is very nice. Santa Fe is pretty big. So I mean, there are a lot of places you could visit in Medellin. Most people are curious about going to downtown. Say, for example, they want to go Plaza Botero, but there is police there. I mean, there are cameras and all that stuff. There is a red zone there, which is kind of unsafe, basically. So I mean, some people just hang out in Plaza Botero, take some pictures, and leave. So there are some streets here that get very busy. But I mean, better not to go alone. I mean, try to go in groups whenever possible. Laurel Stadium is good. If you go to the little streets, especially at night, you could be at risk. You know, San Juan Avenue is pretty it has a lot of cars. It's not really a lot of pedestrians. It's mostly for cars moving around. The 70th Street, things like that. There is a church around here. But anyway, let's talk about other locations far away from Medellin. Let's say you want to go to Guatapé is safe, El Peñol is safe. These are pretty safe areas. Even though they don't have a lot of police, it's, in general, it's safe. Other Rio Negro, I've gone around, but haven't really visited the city. But it would say safe. Itagüí, a little less safe than Envigado and Sabaneta. Envigado and Sabaneta are high-end cities. And then you can take a bus in, say, Caldas. I mean, a bus from Medellin to, say, Pereira. Pereira is a good city to visit. They have improved this road. You can take a bus at South Terminal. You go through La Pintada. There's a lot of curves in this area, so take a pill so you don't get dizzy, sick from so many curves on the road, especially this area over here. So take a Mariol, which is like a meclizine. I haven't seen meclizine here in South America, but there are other medicines that are for preventing getting sick. Manizales is basically a university. It's a city that has a lot of universities, so it's kind of a place for students. I mean, it has a lot of students in there. Santa Rosa Cabal is a cold, small city, but it has the water springs, two water springs that are beautiful. Termales, it's called Termales. Pereira, nice city, not too big. It's good. It's good to visit. It's good to visit. And in general, it's safe. It's maybe a little bit in downtown at night would be not as safe. But during the day, in general, it's safe unless you go venture in some kind of weird neighborhood. But in general, it's safe. It's safe maybe in downtown. If you're carrying a lot of money, things like. But in general, it's safe. If you go, Armenia is a small city. say Tuluá, not I mean you are okay, but it's not too safe. Not too safe. Cali is a lot less safe than Medellin. It's nice. I mean, you like dancing and things like that, but play it, especially more carefully in Cali. Buenaventura, I don't recommend you to go yet because it's very unsafe. There's guerrillas there, it's a lot of crime, so not until they fix the situation, it's not a good time to go there. And this is pretty much going to Cuba, I mean, not Cuba, sorry, going to Ecuador, and then you could go to Pasto, Ipiales, and then you can actually there's a bus that will take you to Ipiales or Pasto, and then you take a taxi something to Ipiales, and then you could go to Quito, for example. This one from here is like 6 hours, maybe a little less if they improve the road. I haven't been there in some years. But some of these areas are guerrilla occupied, so it's not safe to go out in the mountains because you don't know where they are located. They move around all the time. Villavicencio, I mean, I love their music. I mean, this Foropo. Haven't been there yet. Bogota is less safe than Medellin. It's pretty large, Bogota. Well, maybe not better, but it feels large. I think it is, and it's flat in most parts, but safety has decreased in Bogota. So stay away from Cauca. Some area, I'm not pointing that being Cauca. But in general, this part over here, like Cali, things like that, not too safe. So let's say, let me just point it in the map. Cauca, this is Valle del Cauca, and there is Cauca. You know what I'm saying? So this is basically the Cauca department. A lot of guerrilla, a lot of things going on there. So if you live in Cauca, you're running a risk because it's a lot of guerrilla and it's very hard to control because they're all over the place. So do not recommend to go to Cauca or live in Cauca as of now. The other parts that are unsafe, for example, the border area over here to go to Panama is very difficult to cross. There are guerrillas, a lot of people crossing, coming from different places, say from Venezuela, from wherever, and they will try to cross to go to the United States. So they start going this long trip, walk, buses, whatever it means, trying to get to the north. So this area is full of immigrants, and the crossing is unsafe, very unsafe and very difficult to cross. Cucuta, in general, is a hot city. Haven't been there in many years. There are a lot of immigrants right now. There will be risks because there's a lot of people suffering from hunger and they're desperate for food. So some of them will become burglars and thieves and all kind of stuff. So I don't think it's safe to go to Cucuta. You can go to the city, walk around, things like that, but I do not recommend going out at night. You can stay in busy streets, things like that. Same for most cities. Daytime is safe, at nighttime, most cities, no matter where, in which country, in general, at night is less safe. So play it safer whenever you go out at night. For example, even in Medellin, I normally do not go out at night. And if I do, I go in a group. So especially because there is a scopolamine that can be put in your drink. But if you are accompanied with other people, you are a lot safer and they will protect you or take you to a hospital or something. But if you're by yourself, the robbers will take you in a taxi and they will take you to your apartment. They ask you where your apartment is, and because you're drugged, you basically obey whatever orders they give you. They ask you for the codes to your cars, and because you're drugged, you give them the code. So they get access to, or they get your cell phone, they go to your cell phone, and they basically transfer all the money out of your accounts. So it's very unsafe to drink in nightclubs, things like that. So it's better just to avoid risks. So if you're gonna drink something, basically carry your drink with you all the time. And even so, uh, somebody can blow that powder into your face, and you're basically dropped by these people. So play safe, um, and live in places that are safe also. So let's say if you live in Cauca, for example, or you go to say Bello, you are running higher risk than let's say you live in Medellin instead of Bello. Things like that. So depending on where you live is the safety that you be surrounded with. So if you're in a safe city, you will have more safety than you are in a unsafe area of wherever you go to. So make sure you check the safety of the location you go to. If you go to Cauca, for example, you should be aware that you are in an increased risk for more things to happen to you. You go to Cali, it's also, you could have a lot of fun, dance, everything, but you are in increased risk. For example, I stayed in Buga for a year and 3 months. I went to clubs, noticed, I felt pretty safe, but in general, there could be some things that happen in nightclubs, so at night is less safe. Main streets are much better, but some nightclubs, especially some low class nightclubs, are unsafe, especially outside of the club. But once you get out of the club, then you just take a taxi. Do not walk out on the street at night. I did, but I was in groups. I was normally did not go out at night by myself. So try to be in groups. If you travel alone to Colombia, maybe go in tours, guided tours, by well-known companies or people that you think that because it's a large group, you are in much better chance to be safe. And if you go at night, maybe go with your other group, the tour, some of the people from the tour that will accompany you to the clubs and kind of watch for you too, and you will watch for them. Okay. Let me mention some other things. For example, this is one of my channels in YouTube, CUSA space INT. I invite you to subscribe. If you need some information before you come to Colombia, you can contact me, send me a message in my email address or my channel or things like that. This is another channel, Cesar P as in P and triple X. It's not a porn. It's always advice in English and in Spanish. There's some Spanish classes in these channels. Different tips and music and different subjects. Or you can send me a message in my one of my Instagram accounts, such as CUSAINT_modeling, or there is a CesarUSA.com, MedellinReal.com, and things like that. We promote real estate. We provide services to people who want to rent an Airbnb or invest or buy a property, say a used property, things like that. We can help you with that, help you find. Remember that to use Google Translator, you can have it installed in your cell phone. For example, you can type whatever you want to type it, and this.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo has estado? Mucho tiempo sin verlo. Es bueno verte. Pensé que te habías ido.
So basically, it will say things.
Hello, how are you?
So basically, you can kind of use it by ways either Spanish to English or English to Spanish or whatever. Or you can even translate text documents. So you can upload a document and it will translate it for you. Okay. Stay informed about the news. If you want to travel to Colombia, whatever, or see what's going on in the country you're going to visit. For example, this is in Spanish. I watch it to be aware of what's going on in the country, especially in politics. There are Spanish language magazines and newspapers such as Semana. It's in Spanish, but you can, for example, you think that this is important, you can click on it and then copy the text into say Google Translate. For example, up to here. Oops, I click the shift. You need to click shift to select the whole. Oh, you can just scroll it down, but I just press the shift. I just press the wrong button. And then you Control C to copy. You go back to the translator because this is Spanish. I'm gonna paste it in here, and it will give me the translation. You know what I'm saying? So basically, you can translate whatever the newspaper is saying, or you can just get some English speaking newspaper. This is the Colombiano, which is a Colombian newspaper. It talks about what's going on in the country. Like this increased violence in Colombia. The problem is that the government is kind of is soft against violence, and it's kind of trying to make things the soft way, and I think it's not working. So anyway, there is El Tiempo, which is the time in Spanish. I mean in English. Also news. This is mainly Bogota area mainly, but it also the country's news. There is Medellin que hubo, also in Spanish, but this is kind of images, so it's not you cannot copy from here. So if you, for those of you who also speak Spanish, then you will be able to read it, understand it basically. There is also a version for Bogota. So there is a que hubo for Medellin, and there's a que hubo for Bogota. This one's talking about some news that happened to foreigners that they were put in jail. So anyway, thank you for calling. I mean, not for calling, I'm sorry. Thank you for watching, and I hope it was useful. And if you need any information about Colombia, you can contact me. Okay? Take care.